So, without further ado, we'd like to bring down the man of the hour, who has shown up as Tyrion this evening, which was actually selected by the fans. And you all know him as the best-selling author of the Song of Ice and Fire cycle, including A Game of Thrones, Clash of Kings, A Storm of Swords, and New York Times best-selling A Feast for Crows. So if you all could, please give a big round of applause and a big Second Life welcome for George R.R. Martin. Welcome, George. So great you could join us here.
Well, I'm thrilled to be here. A strange-looking crowd.
So to kick things off, I know you do want to read from Dreamsongs, and we're also going to follow that with a little Q&A.
Certainly. Dreamsongs, I'm going to read a little bit of the first fantasy story I ever had published professionally. So the name of the story is The Lonely Songs of Larendor. There is a girl who goes between the worlds. She is gray-eyed and pale of skin, or so the story goes, and her hair is a coal-black waterfall with half-seen hints of red. She wears about her brow a circlet of burnished metal, a dark crown that holds her hair in place and sometimes puts shadows in her eyes. Her name is Shara. She knows the gates. When she woke, he was there, watching her. She lay under a pile of soft, warm blankets in a curtained, canopied bed. But the curtains had been drawn back, and her host sat across the room in a great chair draped by shadows. They told me I would love you, Laren said. I'll stop there.
Well, everybody, how about a big round of applause for George there? We do want to throw a few questions at you. Which fantasy authors do you really like?
Of course, J.R.R. Tolkien is, I think, the giant who looms above the entire realm of fantasy. Another writer that I'm enormously in love with is Jack Vance, who I think is our greatest living science fiction and fantasy author.
Who is your favorite character to write for?
You're looking at him, kid. Yeah, it's Tyrion. It's always been Tyrion. His chapters are the ones that most often seem to write himself.
How do you plan a novel?
When I do a book, I tend to liken it to a journey, as if I was setting out to drive from New York to Los Angeles. So I know where I am, and I know my ultimate destination. And I may even look at some maps or get a triptych from AAA, and I'll know the route in between. I know I'm going to go by way of Chicago, and I'm going to follow Route 66 for a while, and maybe I'll take a detour here or something like that, and eventually I'll wind up in Los Angeles. But there's a lot that I don't know setting out. I don't know where I'm going to spend every night because I'm just sort of driving and stopping when I get tired. I don't know where I'm going to hit a detour. I don't know when I'm going to pick up an interesting hitchhiker. I don't know what sort of meals I'm going to have along the road. These are the things that make the journey come alive, that make it something more than just something you plan on a piece of paper, on a map. So I think it's the same for the book. I mean, I know my ultimate destination. I know the principal routes that I'm going to use to get there. But there's a lot of the fine details that I actually discovered during the course of the writing. And for me, that's a lot of the fun in the writing.
I think that would actually be a great time. You're going to read an additional piece here, so I'll actually let you introduce that.
I'm going to read you a little bit from A Dance with Dragons. The merry midwife stole into White Harbor on the evening tide, her patch sail rippling with every gust of wind. If Lord Boral had told it true, if the Manderleys meant to join their strength to the Boltons and the Freys, no, he would not dwell on that. He would know the truth soon enough. He only prayed he had not come too late. And I'll stop there just to torment you all.
Well, as you can see, everybody was absolutely ecstatic to have you read something from A Dance with Dragons. George, do you want to kind of sum up for everybody what they can expect coming from the Song of Ice and Fire without giving anything away?
One you're working on now is going to have an awful lot of the characters who are not in Feast for Crows. And it's going to have a lot of me, Tyrion, your favorite, and my favorite. So I'm enjoying writing some of those right now. I know Paris has chained me to the computer here. I know it's taking longer than I thought, but I'm working on it, guys. That's all I can say. I promise I'm working on it.
Again, thank you so much for joining us here in the Bantam Dell Bookshop and Cafe.
It's my pleasure.
Yeah.